The situation in society, I think, at the moment is that we've been very much wedded as a hydrocarbon economy, and I don't think that is necessarily going to materially change over the short term. We have an embedded system which is reliant on fossil fuels, and therefore it makes it inherently difficult to pivot and change society to be looking at different aspects of renewables. We've been extraordinarily successful over the last 2 decades of going from virtually no renewable energy generation in the UK to actually it being a very large part of how we deliver energy to the UK economy now and globally more broadly. It takes a long time for the wider infrastructure to support it, talking about the grid and getting energy onto the grid market. It takes a long time for all of these things to transition. But we're seeing a lot of pace of change around the transportation market, around the way that buildings operate and the energy efficiency within buildings. So it's becoming much, much higher up the agenda. But it just takes time to go through that in society.
There's a gap in the market, having that flexible capacity, having that storage is really key, really important. So we're working quite a lot on various technologies there, from battery storage to green hydrogen, so we can actually help balance the grid. The grid itself, it's been around in its existing design since the 1890s. It's an alternating current grid. It needs to be balanced in terms of energy supply and energy demand in real time, but not only that, but also power quality as well. So frequency and having the right voltage, all these characteristics are very important for having a grid that you can actually operate within these very defined limits. So having storage is really important. So that's one of the areas where we're focused on presently. The other one I'd say is really co-locations. So that's when you have more than one renewable generator on the same land, sharing the same grid connection. So you might have solar combined with wind, with some storage at a particular location as well. So that's quite innovative in the sense that we're getting a lot more out of the grid connection. We have a lot of wind. There's no shortage of wind. For example, in the UK, in Scotland and Wales, there's a lot more generation potential coming from wind, but it's just far away from where the demand centres are. So an innovation there could be technologies, frontier technologies like green hydrogen, where you can use that power from the wind to power electrolyzers to break water down into hydrogen, which we can then use for decarbonising other sectors such as transport, heating, as well as power.
I think powering the UK by renewables is eminently achievable. I mean, we've seen very recently that in this year, 2023, the UK in the first quarter delivered more power from wind energy than it did from gas for the first time. And that was followed in April of 2023 by record levels of solar generation. At the moment, that's in a position where I think if you were to look back 10 years ago, people will have said getting to even 15% of what we deliver from renewables was unachievable. Technologically, I think it's achievable. Whether it will happen within the timeframes that have been set for delivering net zero for the UK economy, I think at the moment is questionable. And I think it's highly questionable around the supporting infrastructure that's needed to deliver that renewable technology and embed it as 100% of our energy source. It won't be one source. It will always be a number of different technologies providing that energy to the UK market. I don't think the days of having a single energy source, be it fossil fuel in the form of either gas or coal, is going to be replicated in a renewable environment.
Another way of helping to achieve net zero is there's a big change going from the sort of ecosystem for energy, where it used to be just a handful of power stations, coal and gas in the past. But today there's thousands of these smaller distributed renewable energy generators connected to the system. So there's a lot more data and there's a lot more complexity in the energy system. So again, digital helps us there by providing a smart ecosystem where we're able to coordinate resources, generation, match it to demand over many more generation assets compared to the past.